Yeah, I meant on the.
Aviation. I don't know if you like.
I know they are great.
He's
Yeah, no more problem.
fiscally responsible.
Yeah, but you go so often, I would think you have lots of people.
Very, yeah, I said it's very limited. He told me a lot of things. They're all themselves.
Okay. Good evening and welcome to tonight's Mililani-Waipi'o Melemanu Neighborhood Board. This is our April regular meeting agenda. It is Wednesday, April 22nd. Happy Earth Day, everyone. And we are here at Mililani High School in H building. This meeting is being available online and in person. I'd like to invite everyone to stand if you are able so that we can recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So again, as a friendly reminder for public notice, this meeting is being recorded. It will be available on YouTube as well as on Olelo. It is a hybrid meeting here in person and online, so I respectfully ask for mutual respect from the audience members and board members, as well as proper decorum for this meeting. Please raise your hand if you have questions. Board members are, per OIP rules, must provide only questions. Members of the community can have questions or statements to the agenda items. Without further ado, I'd like to recognize our neighborhood assistant, Rachel, so that she can establish or call a roll call and establish quorum. Thank you.
Okay, when I call your name, please let me know if you're present. Bass,
Present.
thank you. Ramadi,
Present online.
thank you. Flores,
Present.
present. Freed,
Present.
thank you. Gustafson, present, thank you. Inouye,
Present.
thank you. Kanehe. I saw her
Present
online.
online.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Kaapanang Aki,
Present online.
thank you. Kim,
Here.
present. Kennard, okay, absent for now. Okay. Hupu Ka'a, absent. Tarsha Lee, not here. Marilyn Lee, not here. Nagamine,
Here.
thank you. And then Alex Ozawa, not here. Catherine Ozawa, absent. Park,
Present online.
thank you. Rana, thank you. Ross,
Present.
present. Segura, not here. Smart,
Present.
present. Cersina,
Present.
present. And Williams,
Present online.
thank you. We have 16 members, so we meet the quorum.
Excellent. Okay, folks, we're going to jump right into monthly reports. I see that we have Honolulu Fire Department here with us tonight. Welcome, Captain Ray.
Good evening, members of the board, public. My name is Captain Ray. I'm with the fire station, and I'm going to present the statistics for this month. For fires, we had 2 nuisance fires. That includes rubbish fires outside of a structure or vehicle, and 10 activated alarms with no fire. We had 81 medical emergencies, 2 motor vehicle crashes with collisions. And for our fire safety tip of the month, ensure you have an emergency preparedness plan in place for situations like environmental emergencies, fires, or natural disasters. Familiarize yourself with at least 2 escape routes from your home and plan an evacuation path if you must leave your neighborhood due to an emergency. For more information, visit fire.honolulu.gov. Leave early to avoid getting trapped by fire, smoke, or traffic delays. Have a predetermined meeting place like a trusted neighbor or relative's home, a low-risk area, a shelter, or evacuation center. Stay informed. Sign up for notifications at hnlalert.gov, official social media, and other vetted sources. Bring your go bag with essential items for your family and pets. This is a subset of your all hazards 14-day disaster supply kit. For more information and printable checklists, visit honolulu.gov em/build-a-kit. And that's all.
Thank you, Captain. Members of the board, members of the public, are there any questions for Honolulu Fire Department tonight? Please raise your hand. Okay. I'm seeing none. Thank you for
Okay.
your report.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. Next, Honolulu Police Department.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. My name is Lieutenant Creighton Hatiko. I'm the admin lieutenant at the Waihoa Police Station, filling in for Lieutenant Ron Baisa this evening. Just a little bit about myself. I've been in Waihoa before as a footman and as a motorman, and also as a sergeant and a detective. I returned here after 3 years in Kalihi as the watch commander there, and wanted to come back to Waihoa because proud graduate of Leleho High School, 1989, Go Mules. But so some statistics for you guys. This is from March 19th, 26 to April 19th, 2026, encompassing the beats of 250, 252, 254, and 256. 0 assaults reported. There was 1 burglary on Holani Street. No robberies. 4 vehicle break-ins. 3 of them along Wikau Street in the industrial area, and 1 on Kipapa Drive. There was 813 total calls for service. In terms of citations, there were 71 parking citations written. Traffic infractions, there was 764. We've been kind of focusing on that, and we have a lot of federal grants to pursue the traffic infractions. 112 traffic crimes, 10 criminal citations, and I believe this stat is for the entire district. Though, or over that span of time, we have 65 arrests, encompassing 106 charges. Safety tips of the month is about burglary and theft prevention for businesses, but a lot of it can also apply to regular homes. Approximately 20 businesses island-wide are burglarized each month. Commonly stolen property include tools, equipment, materials, cash, and vehicles. Though no security measure is 100%, here are some steps that businesses can take to reduce the chance of being victimized. You can use alarms, either the type that is monitored by an outside company or the type that just make noise. Both of them are very effective. A lot of companies hire security guards. Using tamper-proof or pick-resistant door locks, having adequate lighting, having well-maintained fences and gates, using safes so that even if a criminal is able to get into your property, they're not able to leave with anything that you value. If possible, do not leave any cash in the registers overnight when your business is closed. By the same token, in your home, if it's something that you value, even though you're in your home, try to think of a way to secure it, or at the very least hide it. Yeah, have it hidden. For more information, you can always visit our website, honolulupd.org. And they have a lot of visual examples as well. Any questions, comments?
Mahalo nui for your report. Members of the board, members of the public, are there any questions for HPD? Member Ross.
Aloha. Last month, there was a request for more traffic enforcement, or specifically speeding
Mhm.
on Mahina Ho, so I'm gonna spell it out. Mike Alpha, Hotel India, November Alpha, Hotel Oscar, Uniform Street, specifically near the rec center and neighborhood park and the preschool over there in that area.
Okay.
One of the members requested, or a couple of the people who live there, they all work from home, and they're noticing a lot of people speeding through during the times that are picking up and dropping off of
Children.
elementary school or school times. So they were requesting, just if possible, if they could just get a little bit more presence. It was made last month. They noticed that they really didn't see anybody for the past couple of days. I just want to reissue if there's any way possible they could get a little bit
Oh,
more.
it's not a problem. It's not a
So,
problem.
Thank you so much.
Lieutenant Baisa, I did see his after action report for the previous meeting. He did. And so I'll make sure that we're hammering it home with the guys, especially since we're getting so many other citations.
Any additional questions, members of the board, members of the public? Check online. Actually, I have one clarifying question for you.
Sure.
You mentioned that there were 764 traffic infractions. What were the traffic crimes?
Infractions are usually for
What was the traffic crime data?
112 were written for traffic crimes.
Okay, and is that within Mililani's beats or in the entire district?
Just for beats, the 4 beats that I mentioned, 50, 52, 54, and 56, just in your guys' area.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's plenty.
That is a lot. I was kind of surprised, but
Okay, well, mahalo for the enforcement in our area. And I do want to express that deeply. We have been requesting more police presence. And I really want to thank District 2 specifically because you clearly were overwhelmed with everything going on in North Shore. And,
Yeah.
you know, like the police reserves were there and special duty officers are helping District 2. With all of that in the last month and a few weeks, just with all of that and the road closures in Waimea and in Waialua, mahalo for continuing the police presence here in Mililani while you're dealing with all of that traffic control in North Shore and emergency response in North Shore. So mahalo.
you're welcome, man.
Any final questions? Member Ross.
I just remembered something else.
No problem.
I know you guys just updated your traffic infraction forms, correct? Where you guys don't have to write multiple traffic infraction forms. Now they're all pretty much all on one form. So that way you guys aren't having to refill them out over
Yeah.
and over again, right? So,
It's been like that for a while, actually.
okay. So my question is,
Mhm.
most places it's done on a computer. I can order food to my house through my phone. Why is any of the money that you're getting in from HPD or from these grants that you were speaking of going back to, I think you guys have been running it now for almost 10 years, your pilot program for the digital is any of that going into that, or is there any progress on that pilot program? Because I know 10 years ago, I remember reading about it, and I was talking with some of my friends who just got out and they're now switched over to reserves, and they're like, oh no, we're still not doing that. It's still a pilot program. And I see people on the mainland and they literally just have it on their phone, or they have like these little small, like
It's like a little
small
printer.
print devices, right? And they just literally hit print and it just prints out,
Yeah.
shove it in. And it seems as if it's a lot quicker for them and a lot easier for them, especially because when you guys hand jam it, you guys also, I'm guessing, you have to take it back to District 1, right?
Yeah.
And Central, and then somebody has to hand jam it, put it in, right? So it seems like a lot of hours are spent doing that versus somebody types it in, it immediately gets updated, and we're already done. If somebody could, doesn't have to be today, whenever, if somebody could just give us a progress on how that pilot program is going, if there's any progress on it, or if you guys are going to be pivoting to do a completely different way.
As far as I know that the traffic division, certain officers are still functioning as a pilots for the pilot program. And it seems to me from what I'm hearing unofficially, it's a logistics matter. So the technology, if we've been doing it for so long and then all of a sudden technology gets better, unfortunately gets more expensive, So we have to think the feasibility to get all that equipment into the vehicles of, you're talking about 1,400 beat officers. So that would be 1,400 individual printers in each vehicle, the paper supply. That's a lot of the stuff that seems like that what they're mashing. They're trying to find the right combination. But I understand you guys' frustration because that's something that we've been asking for a lot too. But I'll make sure that you guys get an update. Yeah, no problem.
Final question,
Mm.
members of the board, members of the public. Okay, seeing and hearing none. Thank you so much for your report tonight.
Okay, great. You guys have a good night.
You too. Okay, next up, U.S. Army Combat Aviation Brigade, 25th ID. Welcome.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I am Captain Katie Kolb. I am the Public Affairs Officer for the Combat Aviation Brigade. I have 3 points to brief you all tonight on behalf of U.S. Army Garrison, starting with an upcoming job fair. That'll be on May 18th at the Helamano Military Reservation Training Room from 8:30 in the morning until 2 p.m. The event is open to the public, and there will be job offers and provisional hiring the day of the job fair. However, if there are interest in advanced applications, you may go online to www.himwr.com to find available jobs that will be present at the job fair, as well as information on how to apply for those online. If you plan to attend in person, prospective applicants should bring 2 references, proof of ID, social security card, and the resume or application. Career opportunities are available in fields such as business operations, golf, bowling, food services, and child and youth services, as well as many more. So please come out and see what job opportunities there are for you. The next point I have is on the April training advisory. As usual, by the time our meeting rolls around, most training has concluded. However, there are a couple remaining, starting with Ranger and Jungle Tactics in the East Range. That'll mostly include small arms blank fire, and that is currently occurring until the 24th. And then it'll occur again from the 27th to the 30th of April. There is aviation training tomorrow on the 23rd during daytime hours only. And on Schofield Barracks, there's going to be artillery, mortar, and demolitions training from the 24th to the 30th of April for both day and night live fire, including some late evening and early morning firing. Any questions or to be added to the distribution list, please call the community concern line at 808-787-1528. or email usag.hawaii.comral@army.mil. And as always, we appreciate your understanding and patience as we conduct our training. The last point I have for you all tonight is on the upcoming prescribed burns. So they were previously scheduled for April. However, due to the recent weather conditions and overly wet conditions, we have had to reschedule those for May. So as of right now, they are scheduled to occur from May 11th to the 15th. And then I just want to acknowledge last month's query. We did receive one about the service members with out-of-state license plates and potentially out-of-date registrations. We don't have a response quite yet, but we should have one by next month. If there's any other questions or concerns, I can field your questions now, or also you can obviously call the community concern line one more time at 808-787-1528 or usag.hawaii.comral@army.mil.
Thank you so much, Captain. Members of the board, members of the public, are there any questions for U.S. Army? Dennis, go ahead.
Question. Every time there's a storm or high winds, the helicopters disappear from the tarmac. Where do they go?
I'm sorry, I don't think I understand your question.
Well, a lot of times the helicopters are all parked on the tarmac.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, sometimes, I mean, they'll be brought into the hangars, right? So there are hangars where maintenance is conducted, and depending on the severity of the storm, it's likely that to prevent damage to the aircraft, they'll be brought inside.
Additional questions, members of the board, members of the public? Member Ross.
Recently, there was a shutdown of Schofield due to a potential active shooter, which turned out to be an air rifle. We've been noticing also a significant increase in security when it comes on and off base. I know that's I was wondering if it's a twofold. I know that we've increased to Threat Ground Bravo on all DoD installations and DoW installations. Sorry. But the second question is, has the base commander or Schofield come up with any requirements based off of the DOW's security letter requesting for service members to bring their concealed weapons on base? And has that also been an effect on why the increased security and the reason why it seems as if a lot of bases across the United States have been shutting down significantly more due to the response of that active threat?
Sure. Thank you for that question. I can't speak to the specifics of how we determine increasing the threat levels on the installation. However, to my knowledge, there hasn't been anything official put out about the carrying weapons on post. I will specify and clarify that that is up to the garrison commander. So it's not, sometimes I think people read the policy and misunderstand it as a blanket, soldiers can all bring their weapons on post now. That's not what it is. So unless the garrison commander specifies, what you're likely going to see is an exception to policy. So certain individuals may request to have that right, whereas previously that wasn't possible for anybody outside of like military police and, you know, official military operations with weapons.
Final questions, members of the board, members of the public. Seeing and hearing none, thank you so much, Captain.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Kathleen Pahinui online tonight with us, representing the Board of Water Supply. Hello, Kathleen.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. I appreciate it. Aloha, board members. We had one main break on March 23rd. It was an 8-inch main at 95-698 Kelewa'a Street in Mililani. And again, as always, even though we've had more than our fair share of rain recently, it still doesn't mean we don't want to conserve water. A lot of the rain really after the first rainfall, the first good rainfall we had, becomes nothing more than runoff. As we've seen, the color of our oceans and streams have been very, very brown. So we still ask everybody to be mindful of their water use. That's all I have, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen. Members of the board, members of the public, are there any questions for the Honolulu Board of Water Supply tonight? All right, seeing and hearing none. Thank you so much, Kathleen, for your
See you
report.
next month. Aloha. Bye-bye.
Have a good evening. And with us tonight, we have Sherry Nakamura from the State of Hawaii School Facilities Authority. Welcome, Sherry.
Good evening, everyone. Sherry Nakamura from the School Facilities Authority. I'm afraid I don't have much to update tonight. I can just say that the environmental assessment responses are being worked on, and I know this board provided a lot of comment, and we thank you for that. So hopefully we can expect a posting of that sometime soon. That's all the update that I have, but if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to try to answer them.
Great. Members of the board, members of the public, are there any questions for Sherry from the School Facilities Authority tonight? Okay, seeing and hearing none. We'll see you next month, Sherry.
Mahalo. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to the presentation section of this agenda. Members, I do want to explain agenda item A under presentations. Since we've had the storm activity from March going into April, and there's been some concerns expressed from the Mililani-Waipi'o and even extended communities beyond us, Waikele, regarding the use of the temporary debris storage site at the Central Oahu Regional Park. I'm very grateful that last month, we had Director Babcock from the City Department of Environmental Services come. Immediately, we requested his presence that morning. He came that night, so that was great. A great turnaround for us. He gave us a quick presentation. I really wanted to welcome him back to give us a status update. We know in the news that they did actually share publicly that they actually disposed properly of all the debris collected. However, when we're seeing Central Oahu Regional Park, they still have the partition fence going on, and there have still been some environmental sampling concerns, which are well warranted. Unfortunately, members, even though Director Babcock did want to be here with us tonight, I did get an email at around 5:45 this evening expressing his regrets. Concurrently, and Nestor knows this well as our former city councilman, every meeting night we have as the Mililani Neighborhood Board, the Makakilo Neighborhood Board has a meeting at the same And so Director Babcock and most of the employees at the City Environmental Services Department have to go and be present at the Makakilo Neighborhood Board because they are announcing, and you will see at the 10 o'clock news tonight, a new potential site for a landfill for the island of Oahu. And that landfill is potentially being sited in Makakilo. So they are presenting along with the city to the Makakilo Neighborhood Board right now as we speak. And so he does extend the regrets. He is requesting that we potentially put him on the May agenda so he can report back to us. In the meantime, he did share a brief report in email, which I'm happy to share with all of you. Essentially, in terms of plan and schedule, the debris from the Waialua Haleiwa began being deposited at Central Oahu Regional Park at the site on March 23rd. Baseline sampling was conducted on March 25th by contractor Enviro Services and they identified 126 grid locations of the debris site. Sample results were received by the Department of Environmental Services on April 10th. They show no contamination, so site must be restored to no contamination. So since those were the original samples that they received, so back to no contamination. The City Department of Environmental Services has posted that report on their website today. It's located at the main page. Click on CORP Corp Baseline Soil Test Report. All debris was removed about 1.5 weeks ago. The debris area of the site will be bulldozed to 6 to 12 inches in depth this week, and that soil will be taken to the landfill. That's the Waimanalo Gulch landfill. The contractor, Environmental Services, will come back next week to sample the bare soil, probably 60 grid locations of the debris site. Results will take 16 days to receive from the contractor back to the Department of Environmental Services. If results show no contamination, then bring in clean fill, regrade to flat at original elevation. They will regrass and tend to that area for 30 days, then turn that debris site back over to the Department of Parks and Recreation to reopen to the public. If, however, there are any samples that come back contaminated, the Department of Environmental Services plans to dig deeper in that area and then resample, repeat until the whole site is not contaminated and can be regraded and regrassed to then return to the Department of Parks and Recreation. That is the report Director Babcock has emailed at 5:45 this evening. I'm not available for questions, and I'm sorry. I did know that we had a lot of questions and interest on this agenda item, and that is why I have asked members of our board to push agenda items to our May agenda. I didn't really want this meeting to go too long. I know that our board members, do want a timely and efficient meeting. So I am open to inviting Director Babcock back to the Mililani Neighborhood Board in May so he can give another status update as well as go over this report that he provided us that I read out loud. But I do want to be mindful that we will have a lot of other agenda items that evening. So May might go long, acknowledging that. Okay. That concludes Director Babcock's report via this iteration. So without further ado, I'd like to recognize Miss Tara Sutton, Director of Community Engagement for the Red Hill Registry. She's online, and members, she's going to go and provide an overview of the Red Hill Registry. Over to you, Tara.
Thank you so much for that. I would like to also thank everybody for the opportunity to share tonight. Is it okay if I share my screen? Do I have that ability?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, hang on one second and I'll find the correct screen. Okay. Are you able to see my slides?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I am Tara Sutton. I am the Director of Community Engagement for the Red Hill Registry. I am also a resident in Mililani here, so it's a pleasure to get to introduce myself to all of you. I just moved out here in January. I lived on the Navy waterline for 7 years, and my family was also impacted by the Red Hill water crisis. So today I'm going to share with you about a community engaged approach to identifying and addressing public health needs after environmental contamination. I will not go into detail about the history of the Red Hill bulk fuel storage facility or its history of releases that resulted in decades of environmental contamination. But if there are questions, I can answer those at the end of this presentation. This slide here shows the Red Hill Registry team when we were doing a site visit at the bulk storage fuel facility. And we are standing inside one of the 250-foot tall fuel storage containers, the tanks that are underground. The green shaded areas here depict what is commonly referred to as the Navy waterline. The Navy estimates that these regions include about 9,600 households and approximately 93,000 people who are served by the public Navy water system. In November 2021, the water crisis, the primary concern of exposure was JP5 jet fuel, which is a total petroleum hydrocarbon. Again, if there are questions about details of the exposure and what we know about measuring and calculating the exposure or exposure routes, the chemicals involved, I can address those at the end or take those back for the team to take a deeper look. What I would like to talk about is what we know so far about the health effects from this. Many studies have been conducted, some by the ATSDR, the Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry, the University of Hawaii, and the Defense Health Agency's Epidata Center. And all of these show that individuals were reporting health complaints that affected nearly every organ system in the body. The most common individual symptoms reported through the ATSDR's assessment of chemical exposure or ACE studies were the headaches, dry skin, itchy skin, diarrhea. Mental health impacts were particularly alarming. They were in the hundreds and hundreds of mental health impacts, including anxiety, depression, stress, and PTSD, such as difficulty sleeping and many other behavioral concerns. I also want to point out that many people reported symptoms in their pets as well, similar symptoms with their pets. To address these concerns, many actions have been taken. The Red Hill Clinic was established for individuals who were exposed. The Department of Defense began keeping track of people who were exposed in their own registry. The Defense Health Agency, Public Health, has provided additional support for medical providers through trainings and fact sheets. And the National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine, or NASEM, has just published a consensus study on the potential health implications of the Red Hill fuel leak that includes recommendations regarding clinical care and follow-up for those exposed. They, as a side note, I want to make sure and highlight that the people involved with the NASEM study, the leaders of that study, are coming to Oahu, and well, actually they just landed today, and they'll be doing a community meeting this Saturday. If people are interested in attending that and learning more about the results of their in-depth study, I can get that information to Chair after this presentation. Finally, and central to today's discussion, is that several groups called for an independent health registry for individuals who were impacted by the Red Hill water crisis. And these individuals include our Hawaii congressional delegation, the ATSDR itself, the Hawaii Department of Health, and the Defense Health Agencies, as well as members of the community here on Oahu. So in June of 2024, UH announced the receipt of an award to establish the Red Hill Registry. This work is supported by a 5-year cooperative agreement from the National Institute for Defense Health Cooperation at the Uniformed Services University of the Health Sciences. That's a mouthful. It works to advance the nation's medical and public health readiness for disasters through the establishment of the joint military and civilian health ecosystem. One of the first things that the registry was tasked to do was prepare a report for Congress on the feasibility of conducting an epidemiological health outcomes study. This report required us to jump right into the big issues, explain what happened, as well as intended recruitment strategies, methods for assessing health outcomes, data analysis, identifying exposures and registry enrollment criteria, providing resources and education. Of course, we concluded that report that an epidemiological health outcome study is both feasible and necessary for understanding the long-term health outcomes. This was submitted to Congress. We submitted it in September. I think it was given to, published in December of 2024. But suffice to say that the NASEM report that was just published a few weeks ago supports our conclusions and the need for ongoing monitoring of health outcomes and independent health registry in order for these studies to take place. So the Red Hill Registry is growing. We are, I think, probably 40 or 50 staff deep now. We're proud to be working with contributors across disciplines and institutions, from public health and clinical medicine to environmental science and community outreach. We're building a deeply collaborative team that includes experts from the UH system, the John A. Burns School of Medicine, or JABSOM, the Water Resources Research Center, the Thompson School of Social Work and Public Health, and the University Health Partners, as well as the community, including individuals from the Navy waterline who experienced the water crisis. We felt that it was really critical to engage the community early as we began to develop the registry. I led several focus groups in the fall of 2024 to ask the community about their needs and priorities. These groups included people who were exposed during the water crisis, concerned Oahu residents, as well as professionals and advocates and service providers who responded to the crisis. We also released a community survey to cast kind of a wider net and include those who could not attend the focus groups. Then we began pre-enrollment in December of 2024 and used this as a way to learn even more about the community that we're trying to serve, including where they're located now, which we have confirmed that our target population is global, as we might assume, because so many are military connected. We also established a community advisory work group of volunteers, and I continue to meet with them approximately every 6 weeks. If anybody at all is interested in being part of that community work group, you can apply at redhillregistry.org/CAW, just this community advisory work group acronym. So in August 2nd, 2025, this marked a major milestone for the Red Hill Registry. We celebrated our launch and community fair after an intense planning year. The primary purpose of the fair was to promote awareness of the registry's launch and invite the community to enroll. This is a glimpse of the fair. It was a lot of fun. The media attention, both in promoting the fair and in covering the launch, was really fantastic. And to date, we now have approximately 2,000 people who have started the enrollment process. The 3 driving goals of the Red Hill Registry have been very clear and very community driven. First is to track health outcomes and health status over time so that we can better understand the impacts of exposure and support long-term community health. We want to provide the community with connections to resources and services. And we also offer educational programs for both healthcare professionals and community members alike. To honor the community's request to leave no one out of the registry's resources and to look beyond just the one contamination of November 2021, We have developed a tiered enrollment, if you will. The pre-enrollment questionnaire will help to determine which enrollment group or questionnaire you receive next. The pre-enrollment is just about 5 minutes long and asks how, when, and where you used water, as well as, you know, a few other obvious details, but that's the primary goal. All individuals will complete that, but then if you were exposed to jet fuel contaminated water in the exposure window, which is listed on this slide, and you lived within these, or lived, worked, prayed, played, visited in these green shaded areas, you fall within the baseline enrollment tier. If you were in these green areas before or after this specific window of exposure, or if you're in the surrounding areas, you know, because water, as we know, is fluid, and these lines are kind of arbitrarily slapped over. You know, it's hard to know exactly. Houses across the street from each other, one house has the sheen on the water and the house across the street does not. How does the health effect works? And, you know, just all of these questions. So these buffering areas are included in our expanded enrollment. Who else is included in this expanded enrollment is unexposed housemates of exposed individuals. So say you lived outside of one of these areas, but your spouse works in a green shaded area, or your child goes to daycare or school in a green shaded area. The rest of the household would be included in the expanded enrollment while that one individual is in the baseline enrollment. And this allows for kind of an unexposed cohort for a comparison study to be done if researchers were to look for that. So each questionnaire does begin with a consent form, and because individuals need to be over the age of 18 to provide consent, we have 3 versions for each. You can consent for yourself, for a child or minor that you are responsible for, or for another adult if you are their legally authorized representative. Once you're enrolled in the registry, well, anybody who comes to our website can access our public resource directory. Excuse me. Our public resource directory, Stephanie Wagner, she is our referral manager, and she worked really hard to establish and develop our referral program. Excuse me. We've established a relationship with Unite Us. They're a trusted technology partner for integrating health and community-based care, and have set up this public resource directory, or PRD, through our website at redhillregistry.org, and you can just find this in our resources tab. But those who are enrolled in the registry, you will receive an email with a link that is for an assistant request form. And this is built through that Unite Us platform, but you can indicate any topics needing assistance with. And one of our community engagement specialists can work directly with those individuals via phone or email to get connected to services. There we go. Our educational programs is the last main goal. So far, we've published, I think, 7 fact sheets on our website, excuse me. And Dr. Seiji Yamada delivered the first grand rounds to Halimomi for continued medical education. Sorry, I keep getting some background noise that's confusing me. But we are also working on additional educational material that is like webinars and some video kind of tools to kind of understand how to find and interpret water quality reports and things like that. Here is our continued medical education. This is Dr. Seiji Yamada. He's part of the JABSM team and is on the Red Hill Registry's team to help us put together accredited educational material for healthcare providers to anywhere can take training about this water crisis and be able to understand how to care for the Red Hill community, regardless of where they're at. Partnership opportunities are huge. You can subscribe for our newsletters, spread the words to your network, and connect us to trusted community spaces and invite us for more conversations in other venues. so that we make sure and get this word out, because people all across Oahu have connections to someone or themselves to this water line. So we just ask for that kind of help. And finally, I just want to thank you for listening and for inviting me here. First and foremost, I also want to thank the community, the Red Hill community, and the people of Hawaii who recognized that there was a problem and really fought for answers. You can follow us on social media at Red Hill Registry, and you also can see our contact information here on the slide. If there are any questions, then I am happy to take those.
Thank you so much, Tara, for your informative presentation tonight. I know that this is very important to our own community, even though we're not an adjacent community to Red Hill. So many of us are in the military. We're military families, we're veteran families on this board, as well as throughout our entire Mililani community. So, and we have so many federal employees who work on Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam as well. So just thank you for this information. Members of the board, members of the community, are there any questions for Tara? I see Emil, and then we'll follow with Skylar. Go ahead, Emil.
Thank you for the presentation. I'm involved with cancer research, and I wonder if your registry will be contributing also to some of those researches. Like, are you collecting, for example, blood samples or urine samples from the members of your registry? Or I'm not sure exactly if it's just, you know, to address the people's concerns, or is it meant to, you know, create a cohort of subjects which, you know, you will be monitoring for a decade maybe or longer?
I love thank you for asking this question. This question will allow me to kind of highlight a few very important things. At this time, we are not taking any kind of biological samples in the registry. We all wish that we could, but our current funding is not set up for that. Our current funding is established for only 5 years. So we are only funded until I believe it's the end of May in 2029. So continuing funding beyond that is critically important and something that will be asked for. We are launching our follow-up survey this summer. So we do intend to track people over time, with the expectation that we'll continue being funded past 2029 and be able to continue that for more than decades. Right now, all of the information that we gather, or all of the data that we gather, is information through our questionnaires. But the ask is that maybe we could be able to coordinate better and receive healthcare records that can be extrapolated and de-identified, and potentially, you know, biosamples, even if it's, you know, teeth, because at this point, you know, the way that the body metabolizes the types of chemicals that we were exposed to, it is eliminated from the system too quickly for blood and urine to be effective right now, so we're told. But you know, other things may give information. We just don't know yet. So the NASEM report really strongly urges better collaboration between sectors like the DoD and independent registries such as ourselves to gather information and store it long term. Our registry is designed to be a repository that researchers can come and pull information from us. And the way that we've got ourselves set up with that tiered approach, people can, researchers can request information from that exposure window, but then they can request a cohort, say, we want to look at pregnant women who were in that exposure window on the water line, but we also want to look at pregnant women before and pregnant women after. And then they can do these cohorts and we'd be able to provide that data to them. And then they can run the study themselves and go deeper than what we've been able to do, but we've at least got that start push for them. Does that answer all the components of your question?
Thank you, Tara. Skylar, go ahead.
On your website, I'm trying to find that presentation, and then on the Google Drive for neighborhood board, I was also trying to find that presentation. I was unable to
send it
find
to you.
it.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay, I just emailed the email that you had, the info at Red Hill Registry.
Okay.
And then Do you guys have Joint Base Pearl Harbor Pick'em access to do presentations on base or no?
Yes, my husband is active duty, so I can get on base by myself.
Okay, so if I'll just wait for your email back and then I'll just communicate with you directly because I'm in the Air Force Reserves and this would be an extremely good thing that if we could do a presentation set up for us and then maybe I can expand you guys into the National Guard side as well as possibly PACA.
Thank you. I appreciate that. What was your name? I'm sorry.
Skyler, SKYLER, last name is Ross, ROSS.
I'll look for your email.
Thank you.
Members of the board, members of the public, are there any further questions for Tara tonight? Trevor.
So just to follow up to Emil's question. So basically, like the whole purpose of your registry is just to identify populations of people who have been affected or have potentially been affected by the Red Hill spill. You're not necessarily doing any direct medical studies on these individuals, but you are identifying who would be of interest to people who are researching, the health effects of Red Hill.
Correct. Our funding does not give us the liberty to do the research ourselves at this time. Everybody is chomping at the bit because we're collecting very interesting information. But we are collecting, comprehensive information. And one thing that's really important to stress is that as people consider, should I enroll or should I not enroll? Whether or not you're showing any kind of health symptoms or ever have shown health symptoms is not going to restrict you from whether or not you should enroll. We need people who have absolutely no health impacts or feel like they've had zero health impacts, all the way to people who feel like they've got severe health impacts, so that the sample can, fully represent that 93,000 people.
Okay, thank you.
I see Josie has her hand up online. Go ahead, Josie.
Hi, thank you. Is Shannon Benz, I'm not sure how to say her last name.
Banks.
Bencs. How do you say it?
Banks.
Banks. Okay, is she involved in this?
She's not involved with the Red Hill Registry, but I do consider her a personal friend.
Okay, amazing job she did. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Further questions, members of the board, members of the public? Okay, seeing and hearing none, thank you so much, Tara, for providing the presentation tonight. This was very helpful to our community, and I think you're going to have a lot of opportunities from our own board members to extend this on to share this to other potentially impacted people. And thank you for your hard work. Mahalo.
Mahalo.
Okay, next up, we're going to go into community concerns. At this point in time, is there any community member who would like to come forward and express any comment or concern within decorum on any issues that are not on tonight's agenda? Okay, seeing and hearing none. We're going to go into board business now. Members of the board, we did receive a letter from the NCO pursuant to the neighborhood plan that our own board member, Mr. Dennis Kim, has missed 3 meetings and, due to his international travels. And he is here tonight in conjunction with the neighborhood plan, where he can appear before our board to explain the circumstances of the absences and request to be retained on the board. Go ahead, Dennis.
Guilty as charged. In October, I was in Peru and we didn't have access to internet, so I couldn't come on a virtual one. Then the next time was the February one. And I think I was in Taiwan visiting my wife's brothers and sisters, who most of them are in nursing homes and they're getting way up there in ages. And just happened that when the board met, I was on an airplane that had no Wi-Fi. So I couldn't attend the board meeting on that. Then the last one, I was going to be back before the board meeting, but the airlines canceled the flight. And so I was not able to fly out until they got another plane to fly from San Francisco to Taiwan to pick up all the passengers that were stranded. And that's it. Guilty as charged.
Okay, thank you, Dennis. So folks, we took a look at the neighborhood plan on proper procedure, and as it's written in section 214-106 subsection B or subsection C, excuse me. After the board member explains the circumstances of the absence and requests to be retained on the board, I'm assuming you're requesting to be retained? Okay. Thanks. The board can make a motion to retain the member and is not in order, but the hearing after hearing the matter, the board vacant. That's really not in conjunction of what we've done for the 18 years I've been on this board. We typically do a vote. That's acknowledging that all the votes we've done to retain members is not incongruent with the neighborhood plan. So we did share that with the NCO. I think in the spirit of this, let's take it to a vote. I think it's a negative thought to put in a motion to vacate after he just requested to be retained. So I think that the neighborhood commission office needs to fix this in the neighborhood plan, and that is our recommendation. But let's open it up to a vote to retain Dennis in his seat. Is there a motion? So moved by Ed Flores, seconded by Skylar Ross. We're gonna do a roll call vote since this is a hybrid meeting and hands are difficult. Go ahead, Rachel.
Okay, so the motion is to retain Dennis Kim. Can I call your name, please cast your vote? Rana? Okay.
Sorry, who?
Rudy Rana? Is he here? Retain. Okay. Catherine Ozawa? Here. Parmani?
Yes.
Yes. Inouye?
Okay.
Retain. Okay, yes. Flores?
A vote of yes to retain and a vote of no to not retain. Go ahead, Ed.
Retain. Yes. Okay. Fareed?
Yes.
Thank you. Josephine?
Yes.
Yes. Kanehe?
Yes.
You? Kapana Aki? Okay, I won't take anything. Kim? Yes. Kupuka'a?
Yes.
Thank you. Darsha Lee? Here. Marilyn Lee? Not here. Nagamine?
Aye.
Thank you. Alex Ozawa? Here. Park?
Yes.
Yes. Ross?
Yes.
Yes. Segura? Yep. Smart?
Yes.
Thank you. Serfina?
Retain.
Retained, yes. Okay. Kennard?
Yes, to retain.
Okay, I heard retain on that one. Okay. Williams?
Yes.
Okay. Bass?
Yes.
Okay, so 17 yes, 0 no's, and 0 abstains. Thank you. So we passed that. Keep him.
Welcome back on the board. Okay, we're going to move on to the approval of meeting minutes. I'd like to recognize our board secretary, Sabrina Gustafson, for the minutes. Go ahead, Sabrina.
Minutes from our March 25th meeting were sent out with this meeting's agenda. I've received no amendments or changes, so I move to approve.
Rachel for the vote.
Just want to double check that nobody has any amendments to the minutes. Okay, since we're not hearing anything, the March minutes has been passed.
Okay, moving right along, we're going to go into reports of chairs and board committees. It is 7:58. We're making good time. First off, for my chair's report, I have two items to share. Members, I do want to thank members Gustafson, Ka'anehe, and Lee, Marilyn Lee. There have been there was an idea of putting a few agenda items for this agenda. because I saw that we would have significant discussion in the Red Hill Registry as well as the Corp issue that no longer was actually presented, I did move those around to May. So in our May agenda, we'll be having Josie providing awards to community members on behalf of that committee. We will also be having Sabrina giving us the response to the Mililani Town Dog Friendly Park Survey. So we're rolling that to May, and any recommendations to vote on that in May. And board member Marilyn Lee has requested a resolution that will of course be shared prior to the May meeting. So these agenda items were all originally for the April. We had to roll it due to the significant discussion in the presentation section that I guess we're moving on now. And we will have, I guess, Director Babcock here for May. So please, please, please be prepared for May. It will be a long agenda, Second, I did want to just clarify and provide mahalo to the Mililani donation collection that occurred on Good Friday. So that was April 5th, if I'm not mistaken. And got a couple of questions as to why we did it as a neighborhood board and the fact that other neighborhood boards haven't actually done anything like that. And as I shared in the March meeting, I found it to be pertinent. The Mililani and the North Shore, as well as the Wahiawa communities are very integrated, as well as our Waipi'o and Waikele community. So we're integrated as the center of this central Oahu area. And, you know, we have a long history with North Shore, dating back to even Randy Uwase representing us, representing all of North Shore, as well as Mililani back prior to the development that occurred since then. So this has been a large region, and I thought seeing so many of our Mililani community members who have graduated from Mililani High School, who have graduated from our elementary schools and the middle school, they are residents of the North Shore. Their own parents live in Mililani, and this was devastating to see the impacts of the floods, to see people's homes completely flooded, to see them lose their own personal items, to see just the devastating impact, and even just the fact that these people were evacuated and how connected our integrated communities are between Mililani, Wahiawa, and North Shore. I found it very pertinent. I saw all over social media where Mililani residents were meeting up on community forums to deliver items, their own personal items, to North Shore residents who are Mililani graduates. So I believe that these communities are heavily integrated and interdependent of each other. We know that after these devastating floods, that many North Shore residents came to Mililani Walmart, came to Costco to just get essential items for their homes. So I do think that this was absolutely needed for our Mililani community, and I am very grateful for the partners that we've had as a Mililani neighborhood board, the Mililani Mauka neighborhood board partnering with us, as well as the Mililani Lions and the Mililani High School. I found this to be a wonderful opportunity of civic engagement from our Mililani community. That said, that day of our Mililani donation collection was amazing. We were able, over 100 cars, no one counted the cars because it was just too many, but the estimate is over 100 cars, not just from Mililani and Central Oahu, but even Embassy Suites, the Hilton Embassy Suites of Kapolei came to our donation drive, and with a bus full of stuff, you guys. And it was amazing. I have chicken skin just telling you this. And we had 2 drop-off stations, and it was, I'm very proud of the volunteers. It was, you know, a drive-through, kind of like the Mililani McDonald's, if you will. There's 2 drop-off stations, and people were jamming, and it was like 5-minute drop-off, and they went. So I'm just grateful for the volunteers. I'm grateful for the Mililani and the Central Oahu community for coming out strongly to Kokua, the North Shore. In fact, we were able to collect 1,476 cubic feet of donation items. Because that was so overwhelming, 800 cubic feet, and I could only measure based on cubic feet because of the storage capacity of these trucks and buses. 800 cubic feet was of donation items, specific donation items requested from the Waialua community, was given to the Waialua Resilience Hub by the end of that day. And that actually all filled a 20-foot box truck that I rented for the purpose of this donation drive. I want to mahalo the Mililani YMCA. They really stepped up, and we were able to fill. They offered us one, but we had so much donated items, so many donated items that we had to request 2 buses from the Mililani YMCA, which equals to 600 cubic feet of donated items. And just for clarity's sake, these trucks, these box trucks, these buses were filled from the bottom to the top. There was stuff to the gills, and even on the buses, the seats were full. So it was a sight to see. Having the two buses, those donated items were sent to the Waianae Community Resilience Hub that was established at the Waianae Intermediate School. And since they also had severe flooding impact, and those donated items were additional items that the Waialua community actually explained that they didn't need. So they didn't, the Resilience Hub members made clear that they didn't need sleeping bags anymore. So, that we routed that to Waianae. On top of all of that, we still had extra items. And we couldn't fit it in the buses, and we couldn't fit it in the box truck. So we got a pickup truck from a Mililani resident, and I want to mahalo that individual. It was a large Chevy Silverado, and the remaining donated items were put in that, and that was sent. I personally drove that to Waimanalo later that day, and that collection of donated items, which was around 76 cubic feet of donated items, went straight on to a Matson container ship to the people of Molokai, since they also had severe flooding and severe impacts and their own evacuation from the Kona low storms. So we had 4 transportation methods and 3 resilience hubs to donate these items to. Again, 1,476 cubic feet worth of donated materials. And I want to thank our volunteers, because we had over 50 people that day. They came out from our own Mililani Neighborhood Board, the Mauka Neighborhood Board, the Mililani Lions, as well as the Mililani High School. We had so many administrative staff, we had so many teachers, and we had at least 15 clubs of the Mililani students who came out. So it was a sight to see. I'm so proud of our community. I think that this was an amazing just opportunity for the Mililani community to kokua North Shore, Waianae, and Molokai. And I want to give a special shout out to our own neighborhood board members for coming out. Mahalo to Trevor, Kate, Marilyn, Darsha, Martina, and Skylar for all of the assistance in organizing this. Just thank you so much. That concludes my report. Are there any questions for me? Okay. Next up, we're going to go into community partnerships and outreach. Kate Ozawa, who is not here tonight. She's been doing a great job trying to share all of this on social media, acknowledging that this is all volunteer work. There still will be some more information of this coming out on social media, as well as some more photos, because everyone's still giving us photos. Community recognition and service awards, Josie.
No report, thank you.
Okay. Community maintenance and walk audit, Ken and Skylar.
No update.
No report. Planning, zoning, sustainable development, and climate resilience, Trevor.
No report this month.
Okay. Transportation and Oahu Metropolitan Planning Organization, Ed.
No report this month.
Okay. Wow. Military Affairs and Emergency Management, Dennis.
I have to start all over. No report.
Health, Houselessness, and Human Services, Darsha. I don't believe she's online. Okay. And Parks and Recreation, Sabrina.
As Chair Bass reported, we've moved the park survey to the May meeting. So that means the deadline is now May 26th. The link to the survey is in this agenda as well as our minutes. I'm going to have Rachel send it out again. If you want to send it out to your friends and family, please forward. We'd like the most input as possible.
Mahalo, Sabrina. Any questions for Sabrina's report? Okay, seeing none. Marilyn for education. Marilyn, are you still online? Oh, you're on mute, Marilyn. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm unmuted.
We
Okay.
hear you. Go ahead.
Madam Chair, thank you very much. I don't have a long report tonight, and everybody's going to probably be glad to hear that. We're winding down the end of the school year. Everybody's getting very excited about that. You can see the excitement among the students, although it's still only April. Anyhow, some exciting things at the high school and the middle school. At the middle school, April 29th will be their awards assembly in the cafeteria, and there will be many awards given, including the outstanding students from the 8th grade class. And I'm honored to be able to present those two awards and looking forward to it. At the high school, there will be a Golden Scholars Award night at the high school. It was supposed to be the 13th of May, but I think the date has been changed and I didn't write it down here, but it was the May 13th, but it's going to be moved forward. So that's going to be an exciting thing too, and very exciting for many of the students that are moving on to college and receiving all kinds of scholarships actually from the community, from the whole state actually. And we have some very outstanding students. And then for most of the elementary schools, a lot of them are involved now in various kinds of examinations and getting ready for the end of the school year. I had one interesting thing from the library, and I don't know if any of you are familiar with Hanafuda. Hanafuda is a card game that has been played for years. It was played in the plantation days, and it has been actually revived by a woman named Helen Nakano, and she has going to have a presentation at the library of Hanafuda, Hawaii, on understanding Hawaiian culture through Hanafuda, followed by instruction and play. So it's another interesting thing that the library is sponsoring now that we have adult librarian, and that's on Saturday, April 25th. 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. You're all welcome to come. Okay, and if there are any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Thank you, Marilyn. Members of the board, are there any questions for Marilyn and her report? Okay, seeing none. Thank you so much, Marilyn.
Thank you.
Okay. We're going to move on to elected officials report. I see that Nestor Garcia is here live and in person representing Congressman Case. Come on down, Nestor.
Madam Chair, members of the board, I did send, and I'm not sure if she got it, I did send a report via online to your assistant there. So hopefully she might be able to post it online for those that are watching us virtually. I did pass out hard copies of the report, Madam Chair. I just wanted to point out one particular item because of the pressing deadline. This is the annual Congressional Art Competition. we have each year and recently it's been held at the Bishop Museum. But we're already accepting applicants, art pieces, if you will. This is a competition that's held by members of the House each year. And the deadline to submit artwork to be considered in this year's competition is coming up very soon, actually, in the next couple of days. But we've been receiving art pieces already at our office. So if someone is still able within the sound of my voice, if they're still interested in submitting an art piece, go to our website to figure out what the qualifications are for submittal. And we'll be accepting those art pieces in the next couple of days. Madam Chair, board members, there's a couple of press releases actually that Congressman issued just today. One is the first of 12 funding measures that hopefully Congress will pass before the start of the fiscal year 2027 in October. That first funding measure funds military construction projects as well as the Department of Veterans Affairs. Veterans Affairs close to my heart since I handle the portfolio for veterans who have issues with the Veterans Department and seeks help on all matter of concerns that they may have, whether they be medical or the benefits that they feel that they're eligible to receive for their service. They come to me when it comes to reaching out to Congressman in that case. Each member, each of the 4 offices actually has someone who's assigned to deal with Veterans Affairs. And speaking of which, for those who are just starting out, possibly in a military career, I'm here, but the district director is actually at Punahou School tonight for the first of 2 sessions with young people who are interested in signing up to be nominated for a service academy. Okay. So there are 4 service academies, Army, Navy, Air Force, and the Merchant Marine. Yeah, those are 4. And you can apply to get a congressional nomination. It's not automatic now, just because you get a congressional nomination, the Service Academy still has to accept you. Yeah. Our deadline for that is October 9th. If you are going to mail your submittal, it must be postmarked no later than October 9th. So early start for those who might consider having a nomination for Service Academy. And lastly, Madam Chair, I did pass out, which was received in the mail, I think either today or yesterday, for those of us who are eligible to receive a Kapuna report, 65 and over. This is a congressman's and what he's done to help those in our senior citizen community. So you want to sign up for those. If we don't on our mailing list, you might want to see if you can get one of these as well. I've got some extra copies out there on the table. Open to any questions, Madam Chair and board members.
Thank you, Nestor. Members of the board, members of the community, are there any questions for Congressman Case's office? Emil.
Thank you for coming in person. I wonder if Congressman knows about the legal action already taken against the Jones Act, against the Article 1, Section 9 by the Koloa rum company. I mean, I'm wondering if he can support them or, do something, because he's praising President for giving us a waiver on Jones Act, at least on the import of oil and, fertilizers and energy commodities, but not the food and everything else we are dependent on. 84% is imported. So it would help us not being held hostage by the Matson company, the monopoly. So there is already legal action. So I wonder if he is aware of it.
I myself am not aware of that legal action. I'll have to reach out to the DC office and see if they're aware.
Very recent, it's like a few months ago. Okay. And it's a cola, a rum company. So some kind of.
I'm actually glad that you brought up the whole question of the Jones Act. That was the other press release that I forgot to mention that was issued just today. So because of the war in Iran, the president was able to grant non-contiguous states and territories, Alaska, Puerto Rico, Guam, Hawaii, a waiver from the Jones Act. This is a 60-day waiver to allow for international shipping between 2 American ports, 2 U.S. ports, to ship oil and energy-related products between 2 U.S. ports. 60-day waiver started on March 18th. It expires May 17th. What happened today was that Congressman Case sent a letter to the president, copied the Secretary of War and the Secretary of Department of Homeland Security. So all three got the letter. What Congressman is asking is for for an extension, a 60-day extension. He's not waiting until May 17th. Yeah, he needs to ask. The reason why we're asking for it early is because the way the oil industry works, you sign long-term contracts, yeah? Because you have to set up the shipping and everything else to get the oil to port. So start earlier, send that letter today, find out whether or not the president will grant another 60-day waiver. It depends on how long this war goes on, I guess. So that's it.
Thank you, Nestor. Members of the board, members of the public, are there any additional questions for Congressman Case's office? I see that board member Kennard has a question online. Go ahead, Brandon.
Aloha. I had a question with respects to whether or not the office had any comment that they could provide with about Congressmember Ed Case's position on the Farm Bill vote. There's potential cuts to SNAP, to my understanding, and there's multiple opinions, multiple takes that Congressmember could vote with either yes or no. A no vote preserving the existing farm bill, a yes vote potentially pushing forward new legislation or new codification around agricultural practices in the United States of America. Do you know in which position Ed Case may be leaning? Mahalo.
I'm sorry. I have not yet gotten a position on the farm bill. I'm not sure when exactly it comes to the floor for a vote. I'm going to reach out to the DC office to see whether or not they've actually done a top-down analysis of the farm bill. And we'll get back to Madam Chair and I can share Congressman's position with respect to that measure.
Thank you.
Okay, are there any other questions for Congressman Case's office tonight? Seeing none. Thank you so much, Nestor. Okay, next up we have Tony from representing the governor's office. Welcome, Tony. Thank you for being here tonight.
Madam Chair, members of the board, can you hear me? Should I lift this? Just a couple things today. Mainly, I wanted to provide an update on the Kona Low storm event and the other weather patterns that happen after that. The state has been working closely with Honolulu Mayor and North Shore area lawmakers to help with areas hardest hit by the Kona lows and other major weather events. The state secured 80 rooms at the Inn at Schofield in Wahiawa through April 30th. The city also is making available more than 50 additional housing units. On the neighbor islands, the state is working to utilize Hale'ola'i and short-term rentals for households whose homes were rendered uninhabitable by the storm damage. And the major disaster fund will be used to cover the cost of the hotel stays for residents displaced by the recent storms. Residents who need assistance are encouraged to call Aloha United Way at 211 or register at ready.hawaii.gov. And also, as part of that update, the Hawaii National Guard carried out evacuations at Otaki Camp during the recent severe flooding. The Guard continues to support debris removal and emergency logistics statewide. For those who'd like to volunteer, there are opportunities available through trusted local nonprofit organizations. They ask that you please contact those organizations directly to learn more about their current needs and sign up for opportunities. And of course, there are the local community resilience hubs that could use some support as well as, not just donations, but help with volunteer services. My other thing I wanted to talk about was the Hawaii Department of Transportation has an ongoing effort to add Hawaiian diacritical markings to street names and destination signs on the state highway system. So residents can provide feedback on DOT's master list of street names and destinations, as well as look up possible meanings of specific street names. DOT's effort is focused on the 2,000 state highways and connecting streets, but they will share feedback received on any county streets with their appropriate county agencies. The DOT will replace the impacted street signs over time as it does other repairs in the area. They've already identified some signs and street names that were actually possibly misspelled, and many of them in Nanakuli, Halava, and Kailua areas. So they are asking if you see a street sign in your area that is misspelled to please also report that to them because they will work on fixing that. DOT has a Facebook post, which includes a link to their Olelo, Hawaii State Street Names webpage where the public can download the master street names list and provide comment. If you go on the Hawaii Department of Transportation Facebook page, you'll find it. Not gonna, it's a long link for that one. They also directly, if you want to go straight to the page for the Hawaiian names, it's highways.hi.hawaii.gov, and it goes on. I believe Rachel's going to put that in the chat so people can click directly on that link. Public comments are accepted throughout the year, and there's no deadline set for this. So that's what I have. If you have any questions.
Thank you so much, Tony. And yes, Rachel did put it in the chat, and we'll have that in the minutes as well. Members of the board, members of the public, are there any questions for the governor's office tonight? I see member Ka'anehe has her hand up online. Go ahead, Josie.
Hello. I have a real serious concern. Along Mililani Cemetery Road, there's a forest. Okay, and it goes all the way to the cemetery. And I've been hearing a lot of night firing. I've been finding the spent casings, and I see the direction that they're shooting is towards the H2 freeway. And there's active traffic, and night hunting is illegal. You're not allowed to hunt at night. You'd have to have a permit. There's no way they're going to get a permit for this area. And I'm finding more and more casings, and I'm really worried that with Coral Ridge being built over there, with someone driving through there at night, somebody's going to get hit. I've contacted HPD. They've come several times. I've contacted DLNR. I haven't heard anything back. There was a time Kamehameha School is their property that's over there that they hired law enforcement to go through the forest there to get the hunters, but now it's becoming very frequent. And like I said, the casings, the directions, they can go over a mile, which I don't want somebody to get hurt. And at this point, I don't know what to do. Thank you.
Okay, I'll present that. Thank you.
Any further questions from the board or the public for the governor's office tonight? Okay. Seeing and hearing none. Thank you so much, Tony.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Jocelyn, who's online representing the mayor's office. Go ahead, Jocelyn. Welcome.
Aloha. Aloha, everybody. Sorry, I wasn't able to join last month and had to send a proxy. And mahalo, Danielle, for sharing all about your donation drive. It sounded super exciting. As a Mililani born and raised girl, so many of my classmates were living in Wailua or Haleiwa, or their parents were from there. So we always felt a super strong connection to that area. And of course, we all grew up going to the beach on that side. So sounded super awesome. Mahalo. Some of the highlights I wanted to share from the administration are, of course, related to the Kona Low storm recovery. I actually didn't know that Dr. Babcock wasn't going to be here with us, so maybe less prepared to share because I thought he was going to be telling you guys all the things. But, as the governor's office shared, the city is continuing cleanup and recovery efforts in coordination with the state and our federal partners following the last 3 storms. I think everyone knows that there has been a presidential declaration, so we are hoping to access federal funds to help with the costs that we have incurred thus far and will continue to incur. And of course, really excited about the potential for community to be able to access individual assistance for their needs. The city has launched a recovery website that we used during COVID. It's oneoahu.org. And residents can find information on reporting home damage, health and safety tips, available assistance, and ways to support the community. Of course, we have helped with the community assistance centers. And I know nonprofits are continuing some of them, which we're supporting. So, I think it'll be an ongoing need. Storm debris can still be taken to city transfer stations and convenience centers, which are open daily from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. I'm looking forward to also hearing from Dr. Babcock on the update on court next month. A couple other things we wanted to share. We had planned, the mayor had planned town hall meetings that was supposed to start right when when the second storm hit. So due to, the focus of our departments on addressing damage and potentially preparing for, potential other storms, the mayor has indefinitely postponed those. So we will share if and when those get rescheduled. Two other announcements I wanted to share. The Police Commission is inviting the public to give input to guide the selection of Honolulu's next chief of police. They have made a decision to narrow the applicants to 6. They have not announced those names yet, but a couple dates for folks to keep in mind if they're interested. May 5th, the 6 finalists will be interviewed by community stakeholders. May 6th, the commission is going to meet to discuss. So that will be an opportunity for public to weigh in, although the names are going to be announced after the meeting because they're going to be going into executive session. May 14th, there's going to be a public PBS Insights meeting, discussion panel, if you will, of the interviews of the finalists. And then on May 20th, the plan is for the commission to vote on the chief then. One last update, I think many of you already know, the Grow Recycling Program launched on April 1st. Mililani is one of the communities that are piloting it. So you can add your food scraps and your wasted food to your green compost carts. And in the future, the plan is to expand it beyond the few communities, pilot communities. I know that we weren't really able to report back on issues last month. A lot of our departments that take care of the issues that were raised were very busy with storm response. And of course, a lot of the conversation last month by the entire group was centered around questions about the corpse storage site and the storm. But I think other than one, I have responses for all of them. So I think a couple months ago, one of the members raised a concern about how to get assistance if a traffic light is malfunctioning. The specific example provided was when turning left from Kamehameha Highway to Cocoa Boulevard. I think, somebody had said they had waited for 15 minutes and nobody from HPD had come. So the Department of Transportation, the city's Department of Transportation monitored the intersection and they found that there was a component that was intermittently failing, but I guess worked more often than not. They've since replaced that equipment. So hopefully there shouldn't be issues at that specific intersection again. But DTS said if a traffic signal is malfunctioning and you need immediate attention, it's absolutely the right thing to do to call 911. And HPD affirmed that. The officers actually went to try to find the call, but I don't think we had enough information to follow up on the specific call. But so bottom line is, it looks like there was a malfunction in that light. It was fixed. And member Ka'anehe, who brought it up, you should absolutely call 911 if you need assistance. So we apologize that you weren't able to get the help that you needed at the time. The next item was related to requests for speed bumps at Kohelani and Kipapa Drive by Kipapa Elementary, which is where I went to school. And I think there was also concerns raised because there were no signs that identified the area as a school zone. So DTS has completed their investigation, which included a review of the area's traffic collision history, a speed survey, and a field inspection. Their review at that specific location over the last 3 years didn't reveal any trends, but they did, their speed survey did find that speeding is occurring in the easterly direction along Kohelani Avenue near Kipapa Neighborhood Park. So the plan is to coordinate with the State Department of Transportation to convert the existing crosswalk fronting the park to a raised crosswalk. In the interim, they have notified HPD to monitor the area. and to consider installing a speed feedback trailer to remind motorists of their speeds. And then the maintenance sign, a work order has been put, I'm sorry, for the signs, a work order has been put in for that. The Department of Parks and Recreation is asking for an extension on the question about the trees. So hopefully I'll have more information about that. And then the final item was related to removing graffiti on the side of Meheula drainage ditch near the golf course. And an order has been put in for that. DFM is also the same department that's been working super, super hard during the storm. So, but they did say they have it on their list. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jocelyn. That was very helpful and informative. Members of the board, members of the public, are there any questions for the mayor's office tonight? Ed, go ahead.
Just one.
I'm sorry, I cannot hear you. I could hear you and then it went out.
Hello?
I can hear you
Okay,
now.
sorry about that. Would you happen to know the cost of the red light? The red lights that they're putting up to catch speeders or red light runners?
I do not, but I'm happy to
I just
follow
wondered
up on
because
that.
we do have a problem like that in Mililani. Right where the old Ruby Tuesdays is. When the light changes, you can see like 5 cars, 6 cars running the light over there. As you go further up to Kaheolani and Meheula, that's a area, residential area, and you see the cars running past there, and it looks like the Autobahn right there. But do you suggest that perhaps we look to our representative or our council person on that matter?
I'm happy to get DTS's feedback to see if they have any, but I don't think it would hurt to ask. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I know the city is involved, but I think the state might be involved in those red light cameras too. I don't have enough information, but I'll certainly ask and get back to you. And I'm sorry, you said near the old like the old yum yum tree?
Yeah, right over there.
Okay,
right over there.
that's how Mililani I am, by the way.
There's an intersection, Kaheolani and Meheula. Yeah, there you go. And yeah, so I was just wondering about that because that's been going on for quite a while, and somebody is going to get hurt one day. It's pretty serious. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're having a lot of dated Mililani references tonight with the Yum Yum Tree and Randy Uwase as the state senator. So that's going back to the 80s. But yes, for reference for those who haven't been with Mililani since the 80s, the Yum Yum Tree is now the Ruby Tuesdays area. So just for situational awareness on those folks. Any other questions for the mayor's office tonight? Actually, Jocelyn, I just want to mahalo you on the grow and extend that mahalo to the Department of Environmental Services. They did provide a presentation to us earlier this year in terms of the food composting in the green bins. And it's, we know that Gabriel, we know that there's many Mililani residents who are employed at Department of Environmental Services. So it's no wonder we're a pilot project, but it's still great to see our community participate in that. Did want to follow up on the Kipapa Elementary School request. Thank you to DTS regarding that feedback. Just to emphasize on that request, Jocelyn, that was directly from the Kipapa principal. She's been requesting for quite a few years, in fact, for that raised crosswalk, and the adjacent community around Kipapa Elementary, the neighboring community has been requesting that as well because of the speeding, and of course, the parents of the KQ who go there. So I know that Senator Dela Cruz is working on that as well. So perhaps his staff will maybe online. might have an answer on the DOT side of things, since that is for the safe routes to school. But just generally, thank you to DTS, thank you to State DOT to work together on this initiative for safe routes to school for Kipapa. She did request the raised crosswalk as well as even the flashing lights. So just wanted to mahalo that as well, and hope to see that coming up soon in Kipapa. Further questions? Okay, seeing and hearing none. Thank you, Jocelyn.
Mahalo.
Okay, we're gonna move on to Councilmember Val Okimoto's office.
Hi, good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the
Aaron,
board.
good to see you online. Go ahead.
Good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the board and public. I'm Aaron. I'm with the Office of Councilmember Okimoto. Quick legislative updates. We have Bill 34 relates to the flooding, the flood areas. The bill proposes amendments to the flood hazard area ordinance to align with updated requirements from FEMA. They're necessary for the city and county to maintain participation in their national flood insurance program. Resolution 26074 was the COVID hazard pay. It authorizes roughly $17 million in hazard pay to members of the Teamsters and Allied Workers Union in recognition of their essential service during the pandemic. And the council member introduced resolution 26075 if needed. It was going to strongly urge the city administration to immediately implement weekly soil testing at the Patsy T. Mink Park and provide the results within 24 hours to the public. A few community updates here. We're currently working with the Mililani-Waipi'o District Park and Parks to get their broken basketball rims replaced. And we've also submitted a work order to the DFM to repair the sidewalk on the right side of the driveway entry to Mililani High School, or Mililani High School Stadium. We did add a couple things to the CIPs for Mililani to get the streets repaved as well as improvements for the parks, which would include lighting and seating and overhangs and stuff like that. I'm happy to take any questions back.
Members of the board, members of the public, any questions for Councilmember Okimoto's office? Please raise your hand. Okay, seeing none. Thank you so much, Aaron, for your report.
Thank you. Also, if I'm not mistaken, I think those red light cameras are currently a pilot project, but I can get that information for you as well.
Thank you so much, Aaron. Appreciate that. And then what we can do, if it's also a pilot project with the state, we can also ping Tony for just here, so we could get loop in DOT on that one as well. So we can all work together. Awesome. Okay, thank you so much, Aaron. I want to welcome Councilmember Wire, who's with us tonight. Thank you for being here. And Kelly is here assisting as well. So mahalo for being here, you two.
Mahalo, Chair, board members, community members. First wanted to just recognize and say thank you and mahalo for all the work the chair you put in and the board, Mililani-Waipi'o board, the Lions Club, and just showing up for the community, for your neighbors. I know that it was well received and so appreciated. And I think it really just is a testament to this community's aloha and love and compassion and just come from a place of gratitude. So really thank you for that. And, you know, as we continue as a community, I think there's an opportunity to, you know, assess how we can be better prepared. And I think that's both during this current budget cycle, but also just as a broader community in terms of that preparation that needs to go in. And I know Mililani is always leading the way in that. And so thank you for that as well. Just first community updates. I know the convenience center in Wahiawa came up at the last neighborhood board. We're still waiting on an update from the department. But we did put in requests for additional bins. And essentially that would help alleviate the premature early closures that occur when those are full. And so, of course, if those are, you know, we're able to get those, that would maybe assist with keeping it open longer. I know the concern was that it was closed. Of course, that request is in with Environmental Services, who, as we've seen from this meeting and know from the storms, has a lot on their plate. And so, of course, we're grateful for all the work that they're doing throughout the community. We did distribute our newsletter, which is also available online and will be on our council website for folks that don't have it or aren't here today. We have overview of our budget amendments. Of course, grateful for the incorporation and acceptance of the DMAC Veterans Memorial Aquatic Center amendments, of course, spearheaded by some of our youth, our high school swimmers and their families. And just knowing this community's commitment to that particular space in that park. Grateful for making the improvements going forward, and of course, always open to additional work we can be doing at the park, ensure it's meeting the needs of the community. The additional items below are CD2 budget amendments. So those are currently in for consideration and will be discussed at the next upcoming budget committee on May 1st. They're pretty broad. I'll just note, whenever we're amending the budget, of course, those are additions to mayor's proposed budget, which will often include items for, all parts of the island based on conversations we're having with departments. And so many of these CD2 amendments are a direct response to the storms that we've experienced. I think we all know that we'll continue to experience those storms. And of course, going into hurricane season, we want to ensure that the city is fully prepared to address and respond to any emergencies that may arise, both outside of those storms as well, right? Given fire season and all the other potential disasters we may experience. I'll just highlight one in particular that I am particularly concerned about, and that's the restoration of the positions with the Office of Economic Revitalization. During the first round of budget discussions, 20 positions of the 27 positions in the department or the office were cut. So that would bring that office down to 7 positions, 3 film office positions, which are attached to OER. And so they would continue to do that work. And then 3 community equity liaisons would be left along with the director. Just for comparison, Hawaii County, for example, has 26 staff in their economic development office, Maui, 23. So both one a little more, one a little less than 1/5 of our population. And then Kauai, a little less than 1/10 of our population, has 8 staff. And so taking the staff down to 7 would, of course, make us the smallest economic development office in a county out of all of our counties. And then, of course, the limited scope of the work of the remaining staff would exclude all the other work that the office is doing. The bulk of their work is working with small businesses, small ranchers, small farmers. Specifically during these Kona low storms, their staff have been deployed across Oahu, beyond District 2, but just in District 2. They've been on the ground in Wailoa, Kolaloa, Kahuku. We're in Kuku on Monday during a farmers meeting. Of course, the assistance centers that have been in Laie, and then they've been also in Kolapoko as well. And that's just our district. They've been deployed for the past, month now almost. And even outside of the storm, right, their work is pursuing funding opportunities, state, federal, private foundation funds to support economic opportunities for small businesses so they can either start up, scale up, and innovate, meet the challenges of the day. And then, of course, our small farmers and ranchers. So with the funding coming over from the state for the Small Business Recovery Program, of course, OER would be deploying that to the community. And we do have funds in our budget proposals to also fund an ag recovery program as well, because many of our community members fall through the gaps, given all the different requirements that are attached to these various types of programs. And so that is our hope, is that those positions would be restored. And of course, our hope is all of the amendments will be accepted. But I know that there are, a lot of different ideas about how we can move forward and support the community. I know we've gone over resources, but we have a bunch of the resources also there with QR codes for direct links to the website. We'll just, as mentioned before, oneoahu.org is a great resource. Links to both city services and also outside opportunities. That includes the property tax remission that's available, board of water supply, payment reductions. There's also the DPP donation match website. So for those that are in need of support for things like construction materials or construction work, they are able to be matched through that website to folks that are contributing or donating their time, their materials to help meet the needs of the community. So extremely grateful for that as well. And then I don't think I can add anything to the debris removal that occurred, because I think we got the written statement from Director Babcock, and then I know Deputy Director Doan also had some insight, but do appreciate and extremely grateful for the community's patience and understanding. I think a lot of the questions that were asked were important. And, as we continue to see the work involving the testing, the soil removal, and the regrassing of the area so it can be utilized by the community, I think it was an opportunity for us to have a broader understanding about how disaster response works. I think a lot of people weren't aware that our city parks oftentimes are areas for holding homes or other debris. And that would be true in an even larger disaster. And so I think it's good that we can kind of work through some of these questions that came up, because on my side, having spent a lot of time in that park, absolutely loving that park, I also represent communities that were deeply affected by the storms. And I can tell you just how quickly we were able to move on removing that debris because of the existing contract and because of the city spaces that were identified really made a difference, because all of that debris that we saw, those homes that we saw were sitting in a tiny rural town. That doesn't undo the serious questions we want answers to, but I just appreciate the community's understanding through this process. And that's really been amazing. And just the support I know in that process has been felt. Of course, if we had a larger storm, say Cat 5, and we have debris scattered across the islands, of course, life safety is going to be that initial response. And so I think there would be an expectation that city lands and particularly park areas that are open could be utilized for that debris placement. When they come out, clear the roads, the main arteries first, and continue down to make access available for everyone. I know that's something District 2 in particular. Of course, I live right down the road, but in Waikele, but of course, going all around North Shore through Kuku and to Kahalu'u, a lot of rural communities with limited road access. And of course, just through this one storm, we've seen how communities have been cut off at times, right? Going days without not just access, but also electricity and water. And so happy and encouraged to be able to participate in continued discussion going forward. And I know we're doing that in all of our different communities about how we can better prepare for disasters to come. Appreciate everyone's time and happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Councilmember Wire. Members of the board, members of the public, are there any questions for Councilmember Wire this evening? Member Ross.
Oh, sorry, I got two. Please. So, first one, it looks like you're very involved with the corp cleanup and everything else like that. So my first question is the path that they used from Kamehameha to the site. I know that they laid dirt down there to get it to and from. I'm hoping that that is also going to be restored to where it is. So I don't see that really in the plan. It really seems like they're going to be focusing on just that specific area within the fence, but I'm hoping that that path as well also returns to that green, also returns to the way it is. And I don't know if you could pass that on as well to the environmental services, seeing how much involved you are connected with them. If
happy to. Mahalo.
Thank you. My second question is on commit. So I can't send this because I'm outside the Mililani area, but in the Waipi'o area in Waikele, going down Kamehameha right after Waipahu Street, left-hand side, LED light on the left-hand side. There's 3 of them. Before you hit the bridge that you drive over H1, all 3 of them are flashing, like they're not getting enough power. So I think the diode itself is not working. So if you could pass that on to DTS to see if they can go over there and adjust the diode so that way the LED gets enough electricity so it doesn't flash in the middle of the night, so I can drive through there without like blinding myself.
Yeah, thank you. That's extremely helpful.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll pass that on to the department.
Further questions for Councilmember Wire, members of the board, members of the public? Looking online, seeing none. I do want to thank you, Councilmember, for your assistance in our neighborhood board's organizing of the donation drive for Mililani. Your wealth of knowledge was very helpful. And, even when there were last minute changes at 5:30 in the morning that day, I just appreciate your assistance in helping us direct the resources to the right individuals so that this goes directly to the people of Waialua So thank you so much for your help.
No, of course. And how amazing to hear so many communities supported across the state by Mililani. Like that's really amazing. So thank you for your work and everyone's work here. Mahalo.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna move on. I believe Senator Kidani's report is next, and Trevor will be giving it. Go ahead, Trevor.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, members of the public. My name is Trevor Nagamine. I'm here on behalf of Senator Michelle Kidani tonight. Yes, so the legislature is currently in conference right now. So basically the Senate and the House are coming together to negotiate differences to various bills that they have each respectively passed. And they're working on final drafts of bills to be approved by the end of this week. So the Senate is working on their version of the state budget bill. And so if you look at her newsletter, there's like a short list of highlights on the second page of, you know, the various appropriations that Senator is pushing for that relate to education. Additionally, as the Vice Chair of the Senate Education Committee, she would like to announce that the DOE and After School A+ program registration for the upcoming school year for K through 6 will open today, actually, at 3 o'clock. So it's already open. And so to register, you can visit www.hawaiicommunity.engagement.com/after-school/plus. And again, on the front page of her newsletter, these are the 3 of Senator's bills that have managed to survive this far into session. So it's SB 2613, 2614, and 2615. And these are all bills that are currently pending in conference. So other than that, I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Trevor. Members of the board, members of the public, are there any questions for Senator Kidani's office? Okay, seeing none. Thank you, Trevor.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next up, we have Senator Dela Cruz's office. I believe Diego's online.
Yes, I'm here today again.
Go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. So I did want to follow up first on the question that Josie had last month regarding the Central Oahu DLE substation. So to start it out, basically the Central Oahu Ag and Food Hub does have a DLE substation, but that is not a substitute for the Mililani Tech Park. So I'll talk a little bit more about the difference between the two. But the DLE substation is a part of the regional hub that will provide support to the police presence in all of Central Oahu, so not just Wahiawa. And then there is also a cold storage and warehouse space that I believe she mentioned last month, which is to support the Food and Product Innovation Network. So basically, the surrounding area that will be utilized for the regional kitchen that will open, I believe, in 2029. And then some notes that I did find from the staff as well is that the Mililani Tech Park does have funding for plans and design in the Senate draft of the state budget. So that's, like Trevor said, it's still pending in conference, but it is in our version of the state budget for the Senate. It is in the HRS, the Hawaii Revised Statutes, that there needs to be a statewide law enforcement and training. So basically, like, there will at some point be a Mililani Tech Park. It just has to make it through conference. So hopefully that answered her question. And then there was also some talk about the Wahiawa Dam. We did want to update the board that BLNR, the Board of Natural Resources, and ADC also approved the acquisition of the dam laid out in Act 218. So appropriations in this year's budget for testing and repairs is in the Senate draft for the state budget as well. So hopefully, as it gets through conference, both of those things stay in the state budget so that it can be funded for the following years. Some events that Senator has been doing in the district. Recently, yesterday, there was a Hawaii News Now daily segment where Senator was joined alongside Principal Fred Murphy of Mililani High School, highlighting the agricultural CTE program and the Career Foundations, which is a part of McKinley Community School for Adults. And like Trevor said, we are currently in conference where bills will get negotiated between the House and Senate, with the final decking deadline being next week. And I'm open to any questions.
Thank you, Diego. Members of the board, members of the public, are there any questions for Senator Dela Cruz's office tonight? Okay, seeing and hearing none. Thank you so much, Diego.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Next up, we have Representative Matsumoto, who is also online. Go ahead, Representative Matsumoto.
Good evening, Chair, Board, members of the committee. I believe my report was dropped off to you earlier, and so you have it in front of you. So the most important part of the report is my survey that has gone out to everybody in District 38. So you've gotten the physical survey in the mail, but there's also a QR code in the report. And so I just ask everybody, even if you don't live in 38, you can fill it in. You'll just kind of mark that. It'll say on the online whether you live in 38 or not, but that way you can still fill out the questions. And so this is different than the pre-session survey, where we're kind of asking more general questions of what are the top 3 issues, facing our state and facing our community. These are really specific to the bills that are moving through the legislature, which is helpful to go before final vote to get those results in. So please do that. I will stand on the rest of my report. I just wanted to add 2 things that are not in there. I was really impressed last night with the Mililani Culinary, as they always do an amazing job. And second, really wanted to give a shout out to Kipapa Elementary with their Finding Nemo Jr. It was so impressive of what the kids were able to do there. So just wanted to give them the full credit for that. We'll go more into bills at the next report, but I'll leave it at that to keep it short if there's any questions.
Thank you so much, Representative Matsumoto. Members of the board, members of the community, are there any questions for Representative Matsumoto tonight? Okay. Seeing and hearing none. Thank you so much for your report tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, next we have Representative Lachika, who's also online. Welcome, Representative Lachika.
Aloha, Chair, Vice Chair members, Trish here, District 37. Just wanted to also iterate, we are in a conference period, so it's been long days, just trying to get all our language in and final negotiations on bills, budget items, working with the state agencies and departments, and our Senate counterparts. Next week we'll have a couple of days where session begins at 6 p.m. So to prepare for final decking. My newsletter should be in the Google Drive, and it's also on included here in the chat. Include the bills that are still moving, as well as the resolutions I introduced. My top priority bill, which really focuses on AI chatbot regulation for minors, for the protection of minors, is going to conference. There's a lot of work that's being done on that bill in partnership with the Office of Consumer Protection and Attorney General's office, specifically AG Lopez herself. This is important to her. So hopefully we get a chance in getting it through the finish line. We have other states also watching. Hawaii, as we currently have one of the strongest protections for AI in our bill. Some budget items that are included, there were some that were in the HD1, and then also additional things thanks to Senator De La Cruz and Senator Kidani on district items. So we'll see what happens once the budget gets finalized for capital improvement projects in the district. And then the rest are really just updates on capital events. April is Alcohol Awareness Month. So together with Representative Kilai, we sponsored an alcohol awareness rally at the Capitol. So, with all the celebrations, graduations coming up, just a reminder to take care of yourself, take care of each other, don't drink and drive. And so we continue to share that message to everybody, including our youth. And then just follow up to some of the items raised earlier. First is the red light camera program. It was a 2-year pilot done by the State Department of Transportation in 10 sites in downtown, mostly in the Kaka'ako area. That expired in, I believe, fall of 2025. And so they have been slowly expanding the red light camera program. We have been working with the State Highways Division. So the Meheula and Lani-Kuhana corner by Ruby Tuesdays is on the list. However, it is number 92 on the list. So the plan, and then also Meheula and, oh, not Meheula, sorry, Lani-Kuhana and Cam Highway is also on the list. And that is number 89 on the list. How they came up with the numbers is based on, from what I understand, history, crash data, traffic patterns, use by pedestrians, etc., in cars. But the plan is to expand red light cameras over 8 years. And I believe it's 20 cameras a year, but I would have to double check on what the exact timing is for those specific corners. So thanks for raising that. There's no additional funding needed as they're using the funds currently collected from the fines, from the penalties collected from violating red light cameras. So in the areas where it's active already, I know there's some in Pearl City too. There's some of them are like 800 citations a day. That's just how, it's requires a big cultural change. And then on the Kipapa crosswalk, we do have, we've asked to see if we could put in money for that, even if it's a city road, but Director Ed Sniffen from Department of Transportation did confirm that they would be able to use Safe Routes to School funds for that this year. So we're very hopeful that they'll be able to move and work with the counties in order to get that safety infrastructure done. And I believe that's it for the rest of my report. I'll take any questions.
Thank you so much for your report, Lachika. Members of the board, members of the public, are there any questions for Representative Lachika tonight? Yes, ma'am, please approach the microphone, state your name for the record, and direct your question to Representative Lachika. Thank you.
Hi, this is Rhonda. Hey, I just have a question about these red light things. Because I'm just figuring out or finding out. So is this for people running red light?
Correct, yes.
And at what point is it running a red light, and how much is the cost of running a red light? How much is the cost of running a red light? We'll start with that one. The penalty.
I would have to get back to you. I don't know if it's a set fee or if it varies. But it would be a captured, camera that's a person actively within the lane.
Okay, so I guess I'm trying to figure out how do they measure? I mean, at what point are you captured on red light? Because if you go into a yellow light, is that if you're red anytime you're inside of it, or is it only if it's already turned red and then you enter? I mean, how do you catch it? How do you catch it? When are you running a red light through these cameras? I mean, a policeman capturing it is a lot different from a human eyes versus a camera with radar stuff. And I just want to know, like, I think it's a little ridiculous, to be truthful, to be capturing it with radar when in our natural human lives, we wouldn't have thought of it being a red light. So I just want to know, is this to make money, or is this to actually cause for safety reasons? Because we shouldn't be doing things for money reasons. We should only be doing things for safety. So anyway,
yeah,
I mean, how they capture that?
So
thank you, Rhonda. Go ahead, Representative.
Yeah, so thank you, Chair. So for the enforcement, there is a trigger for the camera to, take the photo once a car is actively crossed and passed into the lane once the red light has changed. That footage is reviewed by an actual reviewer, so HPD or folks from the courts. And then I believe we're also trying to get additional Department of Transportation enforcement staff because the volume has just tremendously gone up for the amount of violations.
Is that
The exact
okay?
timing, though, I would have to get back to you. Like, is it, what's, if you mean by exact timing by seconds,
Well, yeah, I mean,
fast.
like I said, a policeman capturing it versus a camera, there's always going to be more precision with a camera or automated system. But is it really something that we as a policeman or a safety consider? They wouldn't have probably maybe considered that a red light because our eyes are totally in what we would see it's not going to be. And then there's also the human determination. Is that really, should someone get a ticket for that? And again, as a community member, safety is one thing. Doing these programs just to make money off of us is wrong. And that's what I'm here to stand up for.
Thank you.
If it's just to make money, no.
Thank you so much, Rhonda. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any, I'm sorry, Representative Chico, did you have anything to add to that?
No.
Okay.
No. Thank you,
Okay.
Chair.
Are there any additional questions? Oh, Dennis, go ahead. Member Kim.
Not a question, but just a comment. In the Far East, if you go into a zone,
You have to ask a question.
okay,
There's a board member.
the question is, when you go into the zone, normally they have a 1 second requirement and they take pictures. So does anyone know if that's what's going to happen when they start enforcing those? Send pictures to everybody and say, you violated the rule. This is what we have. But do they have pictures of it?
Hold on. So when you speak from the audience, it's not recorded for the record. So you would have to approach, but I don't believe the question was directed to you, sir.
Okay.
Sorry, Representative Chico, would you have an answer to that?
I can check. All I know is that it is the state contracted with the same vendor that does the California red light camera program and in the West Coast too. So I'm sure they have that information.
Thank you so much. Are there any additional questions for Representative Lechico during her report? Okay, seeing none. Thank you so much, Representative. Okay, and last but not least, we have Representative Peruso, who is also online. Welcome, Representative Peruso, and let us know what's going on with your district.
Thanks, Chair, and it's nice to see the board and the community. I wanted to first thank you, as Matt did, for your work around getting additional supplies to our community in the recent disaster. And I know that it was logistically challenging. I very much appreciate the leadership of this board in particular in organizing and effectuating that effort. And I just, again, wanted to express that it didn't just help in terms of meeting material needs, but also improving morale. And also kind of reminding our communities that we are all connected. So it was really beautiful, and thank you. We are, of course, as everyone has mentioned, in the middle of conference, and today we opened up on HB 1800, which is the budget bill. So I think that's going to be an interesting conversation. But I think the lines of debate are pretty clear, and the negotiations will be pretty clear. I am hopeful that we'll get meaningful compromise that serves our communities, and really look forward to seeing this budget play out. I also wanted to note for the community that our next Supreme Court Justice, a Chief Justice, is being vetted by the Judiciary Committee in the Senate. And I highly recommend folks watch the hearing that happened today in the afternoon in the Judiciary Committee, just to better understand the possibilities for our judicial system moving forward. And I think, we've had a lot of conversation about bills, and I will wait until next month to really talk about the outcomes of the conference committee hearings, because we have 420 bills in play. We have about 287 that have House comferees and about 198, I think, that have Senate comferees. So we don't even have all of our conferees on all of them, and we may not, but I am really looking forward to the conversations over the next 10 days or so and negotiated outcomes. So if there are any questions for me, I'm happy to take them.
Thank you so much, Representative Peruso. Members of the board, members of the community, are there any questions for Representative Peruso tonight? Okay, seeing none, I do want to also thank you for your assistance. Just like Councilmember Wire, you provided amazing, tremendous support to our neighborhood board in coordinating that donation drive. So thank you so much. And especially when the Waialua community said no more, we didn't need things outside of that list. Representative Peruso actually directed us to the Waianae community. So mahalo for that, Representative Peruso.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Okay. It is 9:14. That concludes all of our reports. We're going to go into announcements, mainly that our next board meeting will be Wednesday, May 27th here, 7 p.m. at Mililani High School. It's going to be a long one. It's going to be a long agenda. And then, of course, you can catch the broadcast on Olelo Channel 54 and 49 at the respective dates and times. Finally, the Neighborhood Commission Office has asked that and reminded that the Hawaii Food Bank Food Drive for the city and county of Honolulu is partnering up to fight against hunger and is collecting donated canned goods at tonight's meeting. And I'm sure if you want to give some more, you can go down to the NCO later. With that, it's 9:15 and we are adjourned, members. Thank you so much.